Hello, my name is José Jaime Pérez Segura, and I also speak on behalf of José Antonio González Carrero Somoza and Rosa María López Campillo, who are also co-authors of our communication entitled An Error-Based Learning Method for Pronunciation Enhancement. This presentation is being given at the Congreso Internacional de Innovación Docente, Emprendimiento y Desarrollo Social. English language has vowel and consonant sounds that are not present in Spanish. There is a tendency of Spaniards to mispronounce some of these phonemes by simplifying the L2 phonological system to fit the L1 one. Our work analyzes the effect of an error-based learning method on the accurate pronunciation of a set of these phonemes in connected speech. The study involved 64 pre-service teachers assigned randomly to a worked example condition and an erroneous example condition. After an initial assessment, they performed control tasks of oral recognition and production based on minimal pairs discrimination at word, sentence, and text level. An ANCOVA test after the post-test revealed a statistically significant improvement of large effect size in favor of the experimental condition. The results are encouraging and pave the way for further error-based learning research in the pronunciation field. Errors are habitual components of the teaching learning processes across domains. Although their appearance has frequently triggered punitive consequences, many authors consider that errors should be allowed and become allies to instruction instead of being the permanent enemy that must be avoided by any means necessary. One of the biggest challenges for Castilian Spanish speakers when learning standard British English is pronunciation due to the notable differences that exist between both phonological systems. Although features of suprasegmental phonetics such as stress, rhythm, and intonation may cause difficulties, segmental phonetics, which embraces both vowel and consonant phonemes, has proved to pose no lesser problems for Spanish learners. Thus, the objective of this research paper is to analyze the effect of an error-based learning method on the capacity of English as a foreign language Spaniard learners to correctly pronounce a set of phonemes in connected speech. Being exposed to errors in well-designed pedagogical contexts has important benefits because it stimulates reflection processes and boosts learners' ability to become aware of their mistakes. Moreover, it induces deep learning by making learners identify relevant criteria to base knowledge, as well as encourage strategies and procedures to be avoided. The teaching of English pronunciation is an element included in many EFL teaching programs, but it oftentimes tends to be overlooked due in part to the shortage of empirical studies that ground that instruction. The instructors who do tackle this pedagogical task employ 3 different techniques. The one teachers know best is based on control procedures with very limited response possibilities that typically include drillings and activities related to minimal pair discrimination. The opposite of these techniques are the free techniques, which involved working with open-ended pair or work group activities. The dominant role in the control technique lies in the teacher, whereas the leading role in the free technique is performed by the students. The third technique, guided or semi-controlled, involves a wide range of possibilities that combine elements from the previous 2. In this context, regarding vowels, whereas British English uses 12 vowel sounds, Castilian Spanish employs only 5. As far as consonants are concerned, British English makes use of 26 consonant qualities, whereas Castilian Spanish employs 19. Thus, they will simplify the L2 phonological system by eliminating quality and/or quantity vocalic differences, as well as consonantal, and try to identify all the English vowels and consonants so that they match their Spanish closest articulatory and perceptual counterparts. An example can be seen in this figure. This piece of research was conducted in the Faculty of Education of the University of Castilla-La Mancha. The participants were 64 primary education pre-service teachers, 16 men and 48 women, that gave their informed consent once they were thoroughly informed of the nature and procedures involved in investigation. They were enrolled in the Foreign Language and its Didactics 2 course. The students belonged to 5 different groups taught by different lecturers. Each group was randomly assigned to one of the 2 conditions. 2 groups, consisting of 35 students, were assigned to the control or worked example condition, while the other 2 groups, composed of 29 students, were allocated in the experimental or erroneous example condition. The study consisted of 3 phases for both conditions. At the first stage, the participants performed a pretest that measured their initial level in the production of a set of sounds. After the didactic intervention, the second phase, the third stage consisted of a post-test analogous to the pretest. In the second phase, the students completed an individual teaching sequence based on minimal pair discrimination along 6 weeks through the use of the platform Moodle, a learning management system. There were 3 vowel phonemes pairs and 3 consonant phoneme pairs, as you can see in the table. The proposal comprised 6 tests, 1 per week, of 5 activities each that involved the distinction of those sounds at word, sentence, and text level. Students were asked, on the one hand, to recognize the specific phonemes in native speaker utterances recorded in audio files, activities 1 and 3, and, on the other hand, to articulate some portions of a speech by themselves, activities 2, 4, and 5, as can be seen in the table. An initial analysis showed an original variance between the experimental and the control groups before the application of the intervention. In this situation, as indicated above, the use of the ANCOVA test is especially recommended to assess differences controlling for this variability found in students' initial level. After ensuring that all the statistical requirements were met, as can be seen in this figure, after adjustments for students' prior level, there was also a statistically significant effect of the type of instruction after controlling students' initial level in favor of the erroneous example condition. This effect, according to Cohen, can be considered as large. In this way, the present paper adds nuance to the findings of Saito and Blonsky, who concluded in their meta-analysis about second language pronunciation teaching that the instruction of explicit and precise segmental and supersegmental elements through controlled activities was highly effective. Although it is true that these practices are useful tools for pronunciation enhancement, the nature of such activities do make a crucial difference in regard to the significance level of those benefits, as it can be inferred from the results in this piece of research. It seems clear that the students from the experimental condition have developed negative knowledge by becoming more alert to detect and correct mistakes, and that, in turn, has led them to a more accurate pronunciation. Indeed, they have developed the capacity to spot correct and incorrect utterances, and this has positively affected the control of their own oral performance. It is recommended to put into practice this English pronunciation teaching approach as a more demanding and motivating alternative to the pedagogical designs based on drilling. The promising outcomes of this study open the door to the use of the error-based learning method with different phonemes and with longer implementations. The results of this piece of research are encouraging and reflect that, if carefully planned, pedagogical proposals in university contexts that use errors for learning purposes can have room in the humanities and the social sciences as well. Thank you very much for your attention, and we'll be willing to answer to any question that you may ask.